Welcome to Come and See, your podcast for finding truth in a world of chaos. Brought to you by Living Waters Abide Ministries. With host and founder, Richard Case, and co-host and retreat leader, Trish Harrington. Join us every weekday at this time to discuss news, spend time in the Word, and receive answers to your personal questions about living life in God's truth. And now your host, Richard Case.
Well, good morning, Trish. Here we are.
Good morning.
And we'll be airing this going on the last week of August.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not even going to say fall is coming yet. You told me to wait for that still, so I will.
Yes.
But
you'll have snow on the ground before I know it.
Yeah. Then I can say it's fall.
Yeah.
Summer's over. And, we have, you and I have some fun things coming up in end of July, August that we get to be, part of. And we'll be sharing some of that as we get ready for this new fall season. And we just did a taping with a young lady from Rhode Island that was an employee of you guys.
Yeah.
And now she's doing youth ministry. And it's really fun because we talk about, coming to the light. She made a great kind of description of what an inner circle felt like.
Mm.
Is it safe, place of authenticity, no judgment, and yet we're going to help each other learn what it means to hear from God and then walk with God.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so,
hers are youth too, so it's
yes.
challenging because a lot of times youth don't want to share and be vulnerable because of that. What happens on social media.
Yep. So. As we're talking about, light and dark, we talked last time about, and Jesus makes a statement is you don't put a lamp under cover. Actually, people who come into that space see it. And then he said, as you see it, you'll start to receive secrets, and you won't cover up secrets because it'll become known anyway, but you'll know secrets that I'll give you. And it'll be a beautiful expression of living in the light and the joy of the light, and more will be given. You'll get clearer and clearer and clearer. So he tells us in Isaiah, goes through this interesting series of statements to say, let me help you see a gigantic benefit of walking in the light and what that looks like. So if you would go to Isaiah 58, this is verses 6 through 12, a little bit long, but there's a lot in here for us to understand about the light.
Yeah, this one is definitely packed. Is this not the fast that I have chosen, to loose the bonds of wickedness, to undo the heavy burdens, to let the oppressed go free, and that you break every yoke? Is it not to share your bread with the hungry, and that you bring to your house the poor who are cast out? When you see the naked, that you cover them, and not hide yourself from your own flesh? Then your light shall break forth like the morning, your healing shall spring forth speedily, and your righteousness shall go before you. The glory of the Lord shall be your rear guard. Then you shall call, and the Lord will answer. You shall cry, and he will say, Here I am. If you take away the yoke from your midst, the pointing of the finger, and speaking wickedness, if you extend your soul to the hungry, and satisfy the affected soul, then your light shall dawn in the darkness, and your darkness shall be as the noonday. The Lord will guide you continually, and satisfy your soul in drought, and strengthen your bones. You shall be like a watered garden, and like a spring of water, whose waters do not fail. Those from among you shall build the old waste places. You shall rise up the foundations of many generations, and you shall be called the repairer of the breach, the restorer of streets to dwell in.
Yep. So
that's great.
Think about the description here, and that is that he says, I'm calling for a fast. And the reason that you're calling for a fast is that we're stuck. We're in bondage to something. We're heavy-hearted. We're struggling through light. And basically, he says, you're operating in darkness and you're groping around and you can't find your way. And you're not going to find your way, by the way. He said, so when he says, I call a fast, he basically says, I have to reorient you and I need you to do it right now. And you got to break from your routine and do something different. And a fast, and of course, in our culture, when you think of fasting, and by the way, there's even a diet called a fast diet, is, well, I just abstain from food. And I'm not sure I want to get called to a fast. But when God calls for a fast, he's not saying it's necessarily a break from food. He said there'll be moments of that, but primarily it's a break from your routine. So, it could be, right now, instead of you watching TV at night or on a Saturday, I want you to spend a little bit more time with me. It could be skipping a meal. It could be, instead of you even going to work out, or, what I do is I ride a road bike, racing bike, and I do that pretty consistently every day. If he calls a fast, he might say, yeah, I know that's a good thing for you, and I know you like doing it. I know you're in a routine of it, but I would like to break your routine because I need you to spend more time with me. So just think of that as a fast. Here, I'm calling you to break what you're doing normally and do more time with me. I want to do something. I want to act, and you need me to act. You're actually praying to me to act, but you're not understanding how I can speak to you, and so, okay. So he says, I'm going to have you fast. And then, read verses again, just 6 and 7, or no, 6, just verse 6. And he said, this is, if you take this fast with me, and remember, just spend more time with me differently than what you've been doing. Here's what I'm going to do. What does he say he's going to do?
Is this not the fast that I have chosen, to loose the bonds of wickedness, to undo the heavy burdens, to let the oppressed go free, and that you break every yoke?
Yeah. He says, so you're in a place where you're burdened. You are stuck in yoking, in bonds. You are, heavy hearted. You're oppressed. He said, if you walk with me in this way, I'm going to break all that free and move you to this spectacular place. And it's all about, what I'm about ready to do. So he says, wouldn't you have a heart to do that? Yeah. And there's, as you think about people, particularly that don't really know abiding, or they're struggling in the flesh, in today's life, there's a heavy burden just to try to make it through.
Yeah.
And he says, well, let me show you a different way. And here's what I'm going to do. And you got to spend time with me. And he says, one is, and this is interesting that he starts with this. He said, would you consider being generous physically, in a physical way, for somebody that needs it? And I want you to, think about the homeless, think about those that are struggling in hunger, in clothing, things that you might be able to do for them. And by the way, the beautiful thing about, being a believer is that we know a lot of places that do stuff like that.
Yeah.
And he said, I would like you, when you're stuck like this and you're oppressed, the one piece to break would be to stop thinking so much about yourself and go. There's people who are way, way in a different place than you are. And when you get involved with them, he said, the one thing that you're going to see is that my life isn't even nearly the struggle those guys have. And he says, it'll just start to move you away from your focus so much on yourself and recognize, and you have some wherewithal, so I want you to give it away. And he's here, he's just talking completely physical. So, go get involvement in a short way, even if it's time or money, but do something physical and start to think about their life that they need help with, that you might be able to do, but it'll at least get you away from, thinking about yourself. And then he says, in verse 8, if you start, so in other words, if you just start, break from your routine, spend more time with me, do a little bit to physically help somebody else. Okay, now read verse 8. When you start that, here's what's going to happen. What does he say?
Then your light shall break forth like the morning, your healing shall spring forth speedily, and your righteousness shall go before you. The glory of the Lord shall be your rear guard.
Yeah. So he says, what do you need? Well, I'm in darkness. Yep. He said, I know that. I tell you what, take a fast, get a little bit involved in helping somebody else. Then I'm going to start to reveal light to you, which is what you need. And you're going to be able to have things break forth in your life where you'll see me at work, and it'll break forth and your healing will come. And the interesting thing, he makes a statement about that, because a lot of times we wonder, he says, your healing will spring up how?
Speedily.
Yeah. He says, you'll accelerate the time. Now, okay, now what do I need healing of? My soul, my worry, my fear, my anxiety, my trouble, my adversity. I need the healing to come. He said it's going to be based on the light coming forth. Now, we've already talked about when you spend time with me, light means you have a heart to go to truth. So start letting that happen, and it'll break forth. Your healing will start accelerating, and you will start to live the life of God's righteousness because you'll be in the kingdom. It'll go before you, and God himself will be your rear guard. In other words, you're going to be in a place where it's going to be spectacular because you're walking with me in the kingdom, and I'm going to do something specifically and beautiful. Okay.
Can I just ask a quick question?
Yeah.
I take that he shall be your rear guard as he's behind you as you move forward, right? Is that an army thing, an army term, a fighting term?
Yes, it is. So if let's say you're in a battle and you're attacking and you've got a troop. A troop is a group of guys going with you. Well, when you move forward and you only have you as a group moving forward, what is exposed from behind?
The rear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that, you're making progress, but you've left a risk and a vulnerability that now you can actually you're actually moving in a good way, but you have somebody that can come from behind, which in our case would be the enemy, Satan, and the demonic and the world, that as now, you're helping and moving, but now you got another person, another situation chasing you. And God says, I'm going to be your rear guard. That ain't going to happen. You can trust me. In other words, don't be afraid of that, which means, think about that. If we're concerned about our rear guard and we're trying to move forward, where are we looking? Both places.
Yeah. Back.
I got to make sure both are okay. Both are okay. He said, you don't need to worry about behind.
Yeah.
I got it.
Takes the fear away. Yeah.
Yeah. Take the fear away. I'm going to take your fear away. I will protect you. And it's truly he uses the word purposely, guard, is you're vulnerable. I'm going to guard it. Don't worry. They will not be able to attack you. And if somebody's going to attack you, you're going to know it ahead of time and what to do about it. And don't ever feel you're being left alone and kind of open up with your vulnerability. So yeah, that's a good catch. And he says, when that happens, you will call, and what will God do? And
the Lord will answer.
And you'll cry and you'll say, here I am. In other words,
that's beautiful.
Okay. Now he implies two things here. He says, you've already asked me to heal you or to resolve this complication or this adversity or this thing that is overwhelming me. Spend time with me, get a little bit involved. I'm going to make it happen. You've already asked me to help you. He said, while you're now walking forward into my answers, you're going to cry out even more. Now think about it. You're fuzzy about what to do. You're not sure where to go. What would be your simple and most significant cry out to God? What would you be asking God?
Help me.
Help me. What exactly am I supposed to do here? What are you going to do here? I don't have any clarity at all. I've taken this step. I know what you said you're going to do, but now I need to know exactly what to do. And I know what your instructions are. So he says, you're going to call to me while you're walking with me. I'm going to answer you. And when you say, I'm going to cry out, are you here to help me? He's going to say, yep.
Here I am.
And this is cool. It's not like, well, you have to trust that I'm here. You're going to hear me. You're going to know I am here. I'll let you know. And you'll have, okay, good. Okay, good. Okay, now what? Okay, now he says, here is critical for you to walk forward. Okay, now read verses. I think that's, what is that? 10. Let me get my glass here so I can get it. Read verse 9. Yeah, you'll cry and say, here I am. He says,
yep. If you
9
take away
and 10, this is what I want you to do.
So I'll finish 9. I'll start again. Then you shall call and the Lord will answer. You shall cry and he will say, here I am. If you take away the yoke from your midst, the pointing of the finger and speaking wickedness, if you extend your soul to the hungry and satisfy the afflicted soul, then your light shall dawn in the darkness, and your darkness shall be as the noonday.
Yep. And then we'll go on to the further after that. But he says, okay, now here's critical for you. This is funny. This is always the words, are funny. He says, you've asked me to remove the yoke. Okay. In verse 9, he says, well, take away the yoke from your midst. well, wait a minute. That's why I got a problem. And you just told me I can't do it. So what the heck are you saying about that? And then he adds, by the way, stop pointing the finger and stop and speaking wickedness. Okay. So here's what he's saying. Stop thinking about it so much. You have it in the center of everything you're doing. It's all about that. And you worry about it, you think about it, you process it, you ponder it, you come up with your answers. All you think about is this problem. He said, stop thinking about it.
That's anxiety.
It doesn't mean you don't pursue, but just take it away from the middle of your thinking. Don't spend so much energy on this. And he said, number one, don't point the finger. Okay, now think about it. We all do this. We're in trouble. We have a problem. We point fingers as to who caused this problem. Interesting enough, a lot of times the finger's pointing toward who? Me. Mm-hmm. Look at what I did. I know what I did. I know I didn't. I should have. How come? Mm-hmm. You said you're pointing the finger at yourself, living in guilt, or you're pointing the finger at, and this can go all the way from, and I've had people, particularly recently, we did this study on identity. They went through abuse. They went through hardness as a kid and a young adult, and they keep pointing the finger back to their abuse. That's why I'm messed up. Or my boss. Or my this, or my wife, or my, it's they, and God says, you're pointing the finger. Stop pointing the finger.
Yeah, we touched on that a few weeks back, didn't we? On the victimhood mentality.
On the victim mentality.
Yes,
yep,
that's right.
And it's somebody else's. What happened to me? He said, stop pointing the finger, and he basically just says, stop even thinking about what caused this. I know you have it. You know you have it. Take it away, and don't speak wickedness. Okay, now this is interesting. I'm not speaking awful, evil, black. So I'm fulfilling. They said, no, you're speaking wickedness. Why? You're speaking, I'm never going to get out of this. I'm always going to be stuck here, or the outcome's going to be just fair. I'll never really get this yoke broken. He said, you're speaking wickedness because you're not speaking what I'm speaking, or you're not even listening to what I'm saying, or even having a heart to hear what I'm saying. And you're speaking wickedness. He said, so stop thinking about it so much. Yeah. Stop pointing the finger. Stop saying it ain't going to happen so that I can start to speak to you about my steps. And he says, keep pursuing helping others as you do that. And then as you do that, and I remember I'm going to break the yoke. I'm going to free you up. I'm going to answer your question. I'm going to give you a solution. Your light will pour out in the darkness, and your gloom will become the sun of the noonday, and I will guide you continually into my answer. So think about it. It's an if-then statement. What is he said is if you want the light to be shown, and you want the answer, and you want to know the truth, and you want me to resolve it, he says, break up your routine, be faithful to spend some more time with me. Get a little bit active in helping somebody else. Stop pointing the finger. Stop thinking about it so much, and stop speaking wickedness. Now listen to me. When you cry, I'm going to call. I'm going to answer you. I'll show you the way. I will guide you continually. And what'll happen? The gloom will become as the noonday. Okay, now noonday is considered the highest and lightest. The sun's straight up. So he said, you need to go from gloominess to that light where it's absolutely clear as a bell, and you say, oh, I got it. I get it.
Yeah.
And he said, go ahead.
Can I just ask you a question about this? Back to the end of verse 9, it says, and you explained it a little bit, and you said the pointing of the finger and the speaking wickedness. When I first read this, I was thinking it's, wickedness is, very evil speaking.
Yeah.
You explained it differently, because the way you explained it is if like someone were to come to me and they're venting, and I don't like venting, don't vent to me, because I think that puts it out there and the devil can hear you. So this is a good distinguishing mark between it's not swear words or speaking evil. It's putting your, quote, venting out there. So explain that concept to me a little bit, how you shouldn't, I don't want to say you shouldn't vent, but I don't know, should you not?
Yeah, well, it's, remember, it's being authentic, but he said, stop speaking the wickedness. And so this is where the Hebrew word matters. You just said it. Wicked is just dark, awful, black. I'm not speaking that. He said, well, you really are, because the Hebrew word is things that annoy, frustrate, irritate, and cause you difficulty. He says, so what you're doing, and when you vent, is it okay to get it on the table? Yes. Is it okay to write about it? Yes. Is it okay to share with your circle? Yes. But what he's saying is stop speaking about the annoyance all the time, that this thing bothers me. This thing bothers me. It's awful. It's terrible. I wish it wouldn't happen. I don't like this. And you can look at it as, we have a very public example of it. It's called, and I can understand why, by the way, but it's called the Trump syndrome. That, it just throws people completely for a loop. And that's all they talk about. Everything is his fault, everything, and he said, you're speaking wickedness because, it's annoying you. And by the way, I can see why it's annoying you, but all you do is speak about that. And he said, stop that. You got to get it on the table. He doesn't say, don't discuss it or bring it out or say, this is where I'm at, but stop focusing on keep repeating it over and over and over again, as opposed to, I got a problem. Yep. This irritates me. Yep. This is bothering me. This is oppressing me. Yep. Let me walk you through it, but let me speak. Okay. Now here, think about what he's going to do. I'm going to tell you instruction, and I'm going to tell you what I'm about ready to do. And I'll do that through you abide. As you abide, instead of you worrying about the problem, your focus is going to become on following me.
The solution too.
And the agenda is going to change. That's why he says, take a fast, break it, listen to me, follow me. I know you got a problem. Stop speaking about it all the time. And stop saying it'll never be resolved for me. He said, that's wickedness. That's keeping you in that spot. And your light will shine forth. We'll break the yoke, and I'll continually guide you, and your garden will be restored. And the Hebrew there is your Garden of Eden. It's going to come back to the Garden of Eden, and you're going to have spectacular result about your issue that you're struggling with. I'll resolve it. And then, by the way, it'll be repaired, and you will be called a restorer, and that, the beauty of the Lord was going to dwell in us. And then other people will say, that happened to you. Is that possible for me? That's how you become a restorer of the breach. Okay. If somebody, and you share that, and somebody says, is that possible for me? What are you going to do?
Yeah. Do you have a heart to follow? Let's go.
Okay. I tell you what, just go to a fast, get involved with a little bit of helping somebody else. Stop pointing the finger. Stop focusing on this problem as your sole issue in life. Do not speak wickedness. Let me speak to you. Call out to God, follow his direction. Let him guide you continually. And you'll see your answer be restored. And when you see that, guess what? You'll give it away to the next person. And then if I see that myself, I'm going to have another problem, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
We're not exempt from that. The next time I have a problem, what am I going to do? Well, I think I'll just follow him. Why? I got to go to the light. And the only reason I wouldn't is actually, I actually stay in the darkness, and I kind of reinforce staying in the darkness is an okay place to be. But it's heavy, it's yoked, it's oppressive. And God says, why don't you go to freedom? And it's all about light. You got to come to the light. Let me show you more. Let me show you more. Have a heart for more. Oh, that's what you're trying to say. And then if I see more light, think about it. And you can see this, when the dawn comes up, the sun comes up in the dawn, it starts to get light. It's not perfectly clear yet. Well, I need more light. That's what he says. You'll have a heart to say, okay, now what? How can I have more light? How can I have more light? And instead of how awful is my problem, how can I have more light? Which, by the way, will lead you to the victory. So, such a beautiful passage that's full of amazing truth. So, Father, we thank you for this little really understanding. You give us clarity about what we're to do, what we're not to do. Is breaking from our routine, just walking with you and changing how we think to start to focus on hearing you and following what you say, and starting to see the result of that, which will be a restoration of the Garden of Eden for us. And so we just pray that we'll not be afraid of that we understand that we don't want to stay in the darkness, but we want to come to the light. It'll shine like the noonday, and it'll be clear as a bell for us. And we praise you and we thank you that we have that privilege in Christ's name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Rich, for sharing with us today. And thank you, listeners. If you have any questions, you can send them to questions@abideministries.com. Thank you.
We'll see you then. All righty.
Thank you for joining us for today's episode of Come and See, your podcast for truth in a world of chaos. Brought to you by Living Waters Abide Ministries. Send us your questions and comments and tune in tomorrow for more answers to your personal questions about living life in God's truth. Remember, God's will is best and none better. His truth brings peace in this world of chaos.